At the end of the day, you lost someone who didn't think you were enough. You lost someone who thought there were better people out there. You lost someone who feels the need to entertain other people. However, they lost someone who thought they were the world. They lost someone who thought they were enough, and they lost someone who would have given them literally the shirt off their back. So who really lost? That's all.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Oh, well, the answer to that one's pretty simple there, sister. It's you. You're the one who lost. That guy didn't leave you because he thought you weren't enough. It was more like he thought you were too much. I mean, pick your poison. Too much entitlement, too much in the expectation department, or just too much to deal with. I mean, take your pick. That man chose his peace over a woman who needs to delude herself into thinking that she's all of that in a bag of honey mustard pretzel bites. If you truly were this wonderful person, then this guy wouldn't have left you. Either that or you were pork and Chad and he got tired after you demanding a relationship far too many times. But either way, it really doesn't matter now, does it? That dude isn't the one posting cringe on TikTok for internet sympathy like a loser would. That's all.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
Oh my God. These men are crazy. They're relentless. They're ruthless. I'm in Whole Foods, right? And I'm shopping in the cosmetic section because I like to decompress, okay? And while I'm in there, this guy comes and stands next to me and he's holding shampoo and conditioner and he's looking at what I'm looking at. And then he's like, do you have a moisturizer recommendation? Like, I was told I need a moisturizer, which already I'm like, a woman told you need a moisturizer because your homeboys are definitely not saying, hey buddy, you're looking a little crusty, you might need a moisturizer. So I'm like, okay, red flag, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. You don't want to ask me. Meanwhile, I'm like looking at all the mad hippie shit, right? And so he's standing there. He's like, I like your tattoos. That's really why I came over to talk to you. I saw you over there. And I was like, oh, so you're following me. And he was like, whoa, I'm not following you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So then he was like, you really don't have a moisturizer recommendation? So I show him the Mad Hippie and I go, this is literally the moisturizer that I use every single day. This is my favorite. And he picks it up. He's like, all right, I'll take a recommendation. And then he walks away. I just had a feeling, did a circle around the block. The moisturizer that he had taken, he had circled back when I went around the corner and put it back. Okay, you little freak.
Well, what did the police say?
Translation, I live in a van, and the only form of joy I get out of life is to cover my body in ugly tattoos by incredibly long nails that make me a walking fecal petri dish, and shopping at a grocery store I can't afford to buy makeup products when a man came up to me to start a conversation. I immediately assumed he was a psycho because I found him to be incredibly unattractive, despite the fact that I live in a van and have nothing to offer anybody. I then begin to be incredibly aggressive, combative, and mean to him for no other reason outside of the fact that he wasn't hot enough. The compliment he gave me would only be considered acceptable if that man was my type, to which he clearly wasn't. I recommend a random moisturizer to get him to leave me alone and go about my business. But imagine how insulted I felt when this man I rampantly disrespected decided he was no longer interested in purchasing my recommended moisturizer. And now here I sit, crying over the fact that a man I inexplicably despised didn't buy the lotion that I suggested he purchase. And this will continue to bother me as I try to sleep in the van with which I call my home because I can't afford anything else in this world. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close am I?
10. Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever! Oh my god, like please. I'll take a fucking construction worker cat call at this point. Please.
No.
Oh, that one's easy. It's because you told men not to. You go out with your boobage exposed and think that's going to get a man to talk to you, but men aren't willing to do that because modern women have made it abundantly clear that any form of communication with you is equivalent to what the Khmer Rouge did in Cambodia. And most of us are tired of being accused as war criminals just because we wanted to shoot our shot with a painfully average woman who's just itching to test out that new can of pepper spray. This is the world you asked for, and this is the world that you received, sister. So don't complain to us. We're not the ones who made the freaking mess in the first place.
Do you please maybe help?
No way! This is your dishwashing liquid! You soak in it! If you're not married and you feel like you're approaching an age that you should be getting married by and it's starting to give you a little bit of anxiety, allow me to completely change your mindset with a simple mindset shift that my therapist told me years ago that changed my entire outlook on marriage. I think we all put these pressures on ourselves and we put these timelines. It's like, if I'm not married by this age, then I'm a failure or I'm never gonna find love. That was a concern that I was expressing to my therapist at the ripe age of 24, and I was obviously wrong because I'm now about to get married. What my therapist said to me was, Sydney, being married is not the goal that you have. If your goal was simply to just be married, you could go get married right now. You could go marry somebody random off the street. You could go meet a guy in a bar. You could go back to an ex that you know would take you back. Like, you could get married tomorrow if that was your goal. She said, really what your goal is to find a love that you want to have for the rest of your life. You are looking for a life partner that is going to add value to your life and is somebody that you want to grow with and go through life with. That's the real goal, and you can't rush that. If your goal is just to be married, then go get married. You could easily do that. You're not married by choice. You are single by choice because you're holding out because you're picky. And that is a great spot to be in.
No one makes friends with a failure. Okay? You understand?
No, lady, just because you paid some therapist $500 to tell you everything you want to hear doesn't make you an expert. It pretty much makes you a sucker. And the fact that you're getting married means absolutely nothing. You can only brag about that after your 30th wedding anniversary, and I doubt you're going to make it to month number 30 before you start complaining. And finally, you're just wrong. You can't go out and just get married. Considering how much a man has to lose when it comes to marriage, the idea of men risking everything that they've ever built in life over a woman who's obsessed with getting married is far bigger than her respect for the dude she's marrying, and you got men who aren't exactly up to the idea of signing over their lives. And you're not looking for love, you're looking for that movie moment. And I hate to break it to you, sister, but movies ain't reality. If they were, I'd be fighting against David Lopan as he tries to plot the Weyland-Yutani Corporation to get Skynet to use their time displacement generators to send a Xenomorph T-800 combo to prevent Buckaroo Banzai from playing in a rock concert that'll stop Godzilla from destroying Tokyo. But life don't work that way, sweetheart. But a man can dream.
Hell yeah!
I had a man take me on a date, a second date, last week, and he took me to a baseball game. At said baseball game, which, first of all, he asked me to go to the baseball game, right? He pays for my ticket. He just paid for parking as well. We go, and he goes, "Do you want a drink?" I go, "Yeah, sure." About halfway through the game, he goes, "Do you want a hot dog?" I go, "Yeah, I would love a hot dog." We get a hot dog. And then I go, "Thank you for getting me all this stuff. I kind of feel bad." He goes, "You know what? Feel free to get the next round." And as a grown adult, I get it. And I did. We went and got a drink after the game, and I did buy that round of drinks. But the toxic in me. The song is "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," not "Let's go halfsies at the ball game." But I did buy the next round of drinks because I spent a lot of money to look as nice as I did. Makeup is expensive, babe. Spent a lot of time getting ready, doing my hair, doing my makeup, cute outfit. He showed up in what he wears every day. So we both spent money to be there, darling.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I really don't think the dudes who wrote "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" did so with you and your cheap ass in mind. Now, if I'm understanding my history correctly, to which I'm most likely not, they wrote it for then President William Howard Taft, who was so freaking fat that he needed to stretch around the 7th inning to ensure blood flow back to his legs, which is kind of more important and interesting if that's the case. And if you ask any seasoned baseball fan, they'll have stories about the absurd lengths they'll go to try to sneak in a pint of liquor just so they don't have to shell out $15 for 12 ounces of flat, lukewarm beer. And you're bitching over the fact that this guy called your bluff? Lady, if you're broke, then that's your problem. And just because you bought a round of drinks at happy hour doesn't mean that you're square. This guy went above and beyond for you at the ball game, and you can't even pretend to be grateful, which is why you'll never be invited to the awesome baseball games with the fine members of the bounty board over on Patreon. It doesn't matter who's playing, because when you got a bunch of folks like this in the stands with you, well, then that's just a home run waiting to happen. All hail! If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the bounty board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube.
The fact that all of us have a different little type of pink friend that we keep in our nightstand from when men disappoint us. We all have a different preference. Pick your poison. But the fact that they all have 20 different Morse code settings, and most women will default to the one setting. We're just like, we just need one. Hi. It says two things about men. One is that they were fucking involved in the design process. And two is that women for how many centuries have been saying, this is what we want. What I want as women. And men will be like, actually, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I, as a man, because I'm a man, I know what you want. And this is it. And who the fuck uses those Morse code settings? I feel like this goes beyond. It goes in everything.
We've got a conspiracy here. Conspiracy! There's conspirers. Conspiring. In a conspiracy. Conspiracy!
Full disclosure, gentlemen and gents, my knowledge on many subjects is vast, but I will be the first to admit that my knowledge on the subject of vibrating marital aids is not one of my strong suits. But at the same time, I feel like this woman freaking out over the settings of said toys is kind of weird. Even when she's trying to pleasure herself, she can't do it without getting pissed off at us. Even though most of us feel like spending time in a Cold War era gulag would be more pleasurable and more productive than seeing this beglittered woman naked, but woman, I gotta ask you, if you're only having one setting you like, then who freaking cares? It's not our fault that you can't get a good guy to take care of you in the bedroom. You're too busy ignoring us and complaining about the qualities of the device you got stuck in your nightstand as you try to cope at the end of the day that ended in monumental failure. That's not our fault, so do us all a favor and keep your proclivities to yourself, woman. From the way you're talking, it's the only real action you're going to be getting anyways.
That's funny because it's so true.
Why wouldn't you be obsessed with yourself? Why wouldn't you love yourself so wholeheartedly? Why wouldn't you be the main character in your own story, in your own reality? The longest relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. It is also the only guaranteed relationship that you will have. Why would you spend time chasing approval and external validation from others who maybe don't even know who they are? Your self-concept, which is the way you feel and believe and speak to yourself, is the foundation for manifesting any reality that you want. Because the universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to your identity. The truth is, you go first. You decide who you are. You decide how you want to show up, and the universe will reflect that back to you. Your self-concept is what shapes your reality. This is exactly why I built Copia. If you can rewire the way that you think and feel about yourself, and in turn how you show up in the world, to manifest easier and to build the life of your dreams. Because once you start to believe that you are the best thing in your entire life, which you are, everything else will align to match that.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but there is no big lie. There is no system. The universe is indifferent.
You know, I might not be the best guy when it comes to naming products, but I do know that if I was to try and create a manifestation program for desperate modern women who have no lives, I don't think I would start that program with the word cope. Even though I really see what you're doing, I seriously do. It makes a lot of sense, actually. You're trying to sell a product geared directly to the girl boss babe yas queens who girl boss so hard that they have no sense of identity. They have no money and no real prospects for anything. And your solution is just to let the universe do the work for them, because apparently the key to getting everything you want in life involves no work on the part of the individual who wants that improvement. But all this really amounts to is making demands of this hyper-powerful entity who can only somehow improve your life if you tell it to and just let it take the wheel, even though that's something that modern women can't do because of their hyper-independence. So yeah, I guess using the word cope in your product does kind of make some sense. Go figure.
It's true. It was on the internet.
My biggest contribution to society is that I am proof that you can be loud, annoying, crazy. I don't clean, I don't cook, I don't do any of the housewifey things, and still have a man who is successful, dotes on me, loves every single little inch of me, and you don't need to be submissive. Men are supposed to be submissive. We've got this all wrong. This new narrative of like modesty, and if you want to be modest, that's fine, but like, let's not tell women that they need to be these things for a man to like them, because it's not true. Maybe for like a broke one, but it's not true for like men that actually respect themselves. Okay? You can be whoever you want. You can be as loud as you want. You can be as iconic as you want. You can be as annoying as you want. And there's still a man who's probably sitting outside this door would wait on me hand and foot. Okay? Be iconic.
You have had the frontal lobe of your brain removed and replaced with bubble wrap.
Woman, the idea of men being the dominant ones in the relationship is not a new narrative. In fact, it's been the mainstream narrative for literally thousands of years, and that's because it works. And because of everything you said, we can all tell that you make your man's life a living hell, and that's only if this man exists, and that is a very big if. We can all tell that you're nagging, ungrateful, and spoiled to the point where Veruca Salt herself is telling you to tone it down a notch. Now, nobody is saying that you have to be submissive, friendly, and overall appealing. That's totally your choice to be a spoiled brat. But don't be surprised when your man finally takes his balls out of your purse and kicks your ass to the curb where it belongs. Because men with self-respect do not tolerate a woman who thinks that the key to his heart is to spend his money and provide him with nothing in return outside of a dead bedroom and a massive ulcer. But hey, look on the bright side. You're well on your way to becoming an icon. You are becoming the poster child of what it's like to become a woman who's ready to be eaten by her cats at the ripe old age of 82. But to be fair, most modern women are becoming that icon, so the competition's gonna be pretty stiff for a broad like you.
Like I'm at this stage in my life where I've been single for so long that I'm not even trying to find a significant other. That is not my priority at all anymore. But there are these moments where I'm just like, fuck, I want a boyfriend. And then I'm like, where the fuck do I find one? Am I supposed to be performative? Like, do I have to sit out at a cafe and like scout for people? This morning I was like, frick, it would be so nice if I had someone to go to the beach with and watch the sunset with, or like go cafe hopping with. All my friends are fucking busy, okay? Like, I guess I could go by myself. Like, I already do that stuff. Like, sometimes it would be nice if I had someone else to do it with. And it's not about finding them. It's about finding someone who's emotionally available, who's up to my standards, and is willing to love me more than I love them. Like, maybe my destiny is just to be single for the rest of my life. And that's okay. Maybe that's just God's plan. I'll just be the auntie, that rich auntie with 60 cats and like 30 godchildren and just be single. But
that's not my problem. It's yours.
You know, I hate to break it to you, sister, but you're not looking for a boyfriend. You're looking for the impossible. When you say emotionally available, you mean easy to manipulate. When you say up to your standards, you mean rich, hot, wealthy, good-looking, tall, has a bunch of money, and has a great body. You know, the usual suspects. And when you say that he has to love you more than you love him, you're telling him that you want a transaction-based relationship where he has to pay hyperinflated prices for damaged freaking goods. And at this point, you don't want a boyfriend. You want a trophy whose only purpose is to make you feel happy, and that's not our freaking job. Now, if you've already resigned yourself to be single for the rest of your life, then why in the hell are you complaining? Just go get your cats and your money and go live your worst life. The dudes are doing the opposite, and I gotta tell you, sister, we're a hell of a lot better at it than you, and we don't need a massive bankroll to make that happen. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.